This week I'm looking at a movie about a series of people providentially linked together by a single Bible. Oh, and it's a silent film. Is it worth watching? Find out when I look at The Good Book on this week's Indy Christian Review. I always like to see a Christian movie try to break some kind of mold, whether it's genre or story tropes or whatever. The Good Book breaks the sound barrier, so to speak. When I got my copy, I was really excited to see that it was made by the same people who had made Flowers for Fanny, which is a movie I reviewed a couple years ago and I really enjoyed it. The Good Book starts with a boy who runs away from home after accidentally setting his family's house on fire. He finds his way to a homeless colony where a church group visits and someone gives him a small Bible. He finds solace in its words, and after later being returned to his family, he gives the Bible to the public defender that was helping him. Without giving away too much, his life is also impacted, and he in turn passes the Bible on to someone else who needs it. And so the story follows the lives that this particular copy of the Bible impacts as it's passed from one person to another. The movie's relatively short, just a little over an hour, but it really crams a lot of story into that time. I love that they made this a silent film. I mean, what's one of the big complaints about Christian movies? They talk too much. The Good Book does not have that problem. I mean, it's hard to break the show don't tell rule when you have no dialogue in your film. Even though pacing-wise it was a little slow at times, I felt that the story flowed really well from one person to another, and the handoffs of the Bible felt really natural. The only one I felt didn't really work was when the Bible was surprisingly waterproof. I'll leave it at that. Production-wise, the cinematography is very creative. While you can tell it's lower budget, it wasn't really distracting to me. The acting was great. I was always able to tell what was going on. The actors didn't need to say anything to convey the story. The Good Book was very effective in showing the life-changing power that God's work can have in people's lives. But it was also realistic in showing that not everyone accepted it. That pesky free will. It's set aside and ignored by several people throughout the film, but that becomes part of the process of getting it into the hands of people who are receptive. I think a lot of Christian filmmakers could benefit from watching this movie and other silent films for that matter, and really seeing just how powerful a story can be with only visuals. Alfred Hitchcock, who I think is the greatest filmmaker of all time, started in silent films, and he actually felt that the invention of sound in films detracted and was a huge weakness to the power of visual storytelling. I think as Christian filmmakers we could really benefit from making a silent film or two. It'd be a great way to hone our storytelling skills and learn how to make a much more powerful movie. Now, I'm excited to see Main Street Productions' next film, Providence. It's another silent movie like The Good Book, and after watching Good Book, I have very high expectations for this one. These are some very talented filmmakers you definitely want to keep an eye on. So, how do I rate The Good Book? The acting is a 5. Like I said, the lack of dialogue from cast was in no way a hindrance. I could tell just from watching them what was going on. The writing is a 4. The pacing was a little slow in spots, but the stories were always engaging and flowed naturally from one to the next. The production values are also a 4. It does have a slight shot-on-video feel, and I think the slow-mo was overused a bit. But it was never bad or unpleasant to look at. So overall, I'm going to rate The Good Book 4 out of 5. This movie is definitely worth watching. So let me ask you, what's your favorite silent movie? If you're watching this anywhere besides IndyChristianReview.com, head over there and leave a comment and let me know. For me, can't really decide between Alfred Hitchcock's The Lodger or The Farmer's Wife. Also, don't forget to subscribe and consider supporting the show on Patreon at patreon.com/storyteller. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, may God bless you, and may God bless independent Christian films. Thank you.